5 years from now, you will thank me for telling you this. And it's you do not need to understand the difference between ser and estar to have real and everyday conversations with locals. In fact, by the end of this episode, you will probably stop being afraid of ser and estar altogether. But first, bienvenidas y bienvenidos. Welcome to Spanish for Van Life, the first and the only podcast designed to help you stop studying and finally start speaking Spanish for your van life adventure across Spain or Latin America or Guinea Ecuatorial. Yo soy Cris, la profesora de español para van livers. Vale, what you actually need is to start using ser and estar because grammar has never been the real problem. And I know that you are going to think, no, my problem is grammar because I don't know the difference between ser and estar, por and para, blah, 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 blah. But the real problem is that you are waiting until you feel ready before you start speaking. And if you think about it, I know that you will agree. Yes, during this episode, I will give you simple trick to remember when to use ser and estar. But more importantly, I am here to help you stop being afraid of them and start using them, even if you make mistakes with them. Okay? So I know this probably sounds crazy for you because you've spent months studying Spanish, maybe watching videos on YouTube, maybe with textbooks or doing Duolingo. I know, and maybe you study Spanish in high school, and I know that everything is around grammar, but you also spent months avoiding simple sentences, like avoiding speaking, because the excuse that we say, and I have to say that I have the same problem. Well, not the same exactly now, but I used to have this problem when I was studying English and then French and also Italian. I was like, I'm not going to, I don't know this, so I don't use it. Bueno, amigo. Maybe my problem was that I was afraid of making mistakes. No, maybe not. It was. I mean, now I know. Um, the simple sentences that you are avoiding is, for example, saying just, I am from England or I am tired, because these sentences has the verb to be. And we don't know the difference between ser and estar. We know that verb to be is ser and sometimes is estar. And we are terrified of getting ser and estar wrong. I know I have the same problem with other verbs, thousand verbs, or grammar rules in English. I understand you, but um, before that, I explain you what happens during my classes, and this will help you to speak and use ser and estar. Let me remind you that you can download my free essential Spanish verbs for your van life adventure in Spain or in Latin America or in Guinea Ecuatorial also. You will find the link in the description, and afterwards leave me a comment telling me how many of these verbs you already know. Remember that there are verbs that we van livers use every day, and these verbs don't show up, don't appear on Duolingo. So please let me know after how many you know. Bueno, so here is what usually happens. And in the very first lesson, my student, some of them don't know how I am, or like the rules of my lessons. And in the first lesson, we practice the most common questions in Spanish. And of course, one of the most common questions for van livers is, where are you from? Because you are traveling and maybe you have a, oh, how you say in English? You have a matrícula. Una matrícula is the, Hmm? I don't know in English. Oh my gosh. Like the number of your car. Mm, you let me know in the comments how was the word. So maybe you see that this car is from France, but oh, for example, my van, which is actually in Brazil, la placa, de la matrícula, no, like the number of my car, it says that is from Paraguay. So you never know who is from the, like the person who is in the van. You don't know where she or he is from. So this is one of the first questions that I teach. Where are you from? And of course, where are you from has the verb to be. And at that point, when I ask them, or maybe I ask them, can you in English? I don't usually use English during my classes. But in the first one, I want that they feel the nice pressure or the positive pressure of ask me where I am from. So um, then some of them that they don't know that I joke and I say that I have a cristatura, which is like the Chris dictatorship, because we say, in Spanish we say dictadura, so this is a cristatura, and they start to ask me, should I say it ser or estar? Because I mean, where are you from? It's about location, and yeah, but it's about also. And what I always say to them is like, you first say it, and then I will correct it. And this is the most basic rule in my dictadura, in my cristatura. And it's like, you have to try first, and then I will say to you the correct form, because I want you to go through the, I should learn this word, uncomfortableness. That even makes sense. I don't know. Incomodidad in English, in Spanish, like cómodo, comfortable, pues incómodo, the, the opposite. So what I always say is like, you try first, and then I will say it. And I want them to make mistakes first. Yes, sí, exactamente. What I want is that you make mistakes. How is that possible? If you're a teacher, Spanish teacher, you would want that they say everything correctly. This is not going to happen if you are just studying for a couple of months or even for a couple of years Spanish. This is not going to happen because, I mean, I am studying English since probably kindergarten, theoretically, you know, that Spanish educational system isn't the best, especially with languages. And I really learned the language after, when I was living in Canada and then England and then traveling. Um, and actually, right now, I don't even say everything correct. So why should I expect that my student do in the first lesson? Doesn't make any sense, right? So um, I want you to think out uh, of the box and try to don't do everything correctly. That I know that this is very difficult at the beginning because our educational system forced us to do everything perfect. Otherwise, we were punished. Yeah. Have you ever think about that? That the most important thing with languages, which is let's try, it was punished in during school. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. And this is actually the real reason why I don't teach in in you know, like public or private schools. I teach in my own way for my students that they um, is I don't teach in languages school because sometimes their way of seeing the languages is not the thing I like. So if someone asks you for an advice, for example, in the, I don't know, think about that. For example, I remember when I was talking to one of my students, he liked, ¿cómo se dice? Basket, no? Basketball. So he really likes and enjoy that. And I said, you can't teach the first day or even the first year. I don't know. Well, I don't really know about basketball, but you can teach the at the beginning, or you can't um, expect that a person who just started learning how to push, or como se dice, through the ball, do a triplet perfectly at the beginning. Doesn't make any sense because this is not going to happen. Would you teach them like a complicated combination? Or maybe, for example, if there is a kid that just started to add, like, ¿cómo se dice? Yeah, add like, see, add like 1 + 2 = 3, no? I think you say that, add in English. So imagine that this a little child ask you, oh, sorry, where when I am going to learn multiplication with decimals, because I would need it one day and I don't want to get wrong. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, you are just learning 1 + 2. I can't teach you that. Not yet. I mean, I will, but not yet. Right now is not the moment. So um just think about that. It's not that you are a little boy or a little girl. Um, that's why I was trying to do the example also with basketball. It's like you are a person who just started the process. And the problem is that we don't like the process. We like the moment that we know everything. Yeah, but it's like you you if you don't read all the book, you will never know the end. You have to go through all the chapters until you know how this book ends, right? So, um, this is the same. We can't skip process. We can't. But I know that we don't like the feeling of being beginner. I know sometimes feels terrible. And I really know because I passes through this process many, many times. And right now I'm learning Valencian, which is one of the co-official languages in Spain. And I know that I don't like this process, but that's why I really understand you. But it's part of the process. You can't know how to, or you can't learn how to multiply if you before don't learn how to add. So it's like that. So most people don't actually have a SER and STAR problem. Going back to the topic, we all have fear of being judged and making mistakes and thinking that they are stupid, or so that we are stupid. And you know that we all think like, oh, but I am so funny in my language and I can't be that funny when I am speaking another language. Girl, believe me, I know I am the funniest person in the world when I speak in Spanish. Maybe not the funniest, but one of them. But when I speak in another language, it's something that that's why I love learning languages, because the y- it's it's very vulnerable, because you have to show one part of you when you are actually building yourself in another context, in another language, in another culture. not understanding everything, and this incertidumbre, uncertainty, I don't know how you say when you don't know what is going to happen. This and also going through this feeling of don't feel comfortable is what is the real brave thing. That's why learning languages is, for me, it's so brave. And I mean, that is also actually also, I guess, no, one of the real reasons why you want to learn Spanish is not just because you want to have real conversations. Because I mean, if you would just have conversations with people, you would just take the Google translator and just show, which is okay. Maybe if I go to South Korea, I am not going to learn Korean for 1 week. I'm going to use Google Translator. But what you really want also is that you feel that you are improving and you are showing to yourself that you can do that. And what I see most of the time is that one-liners hide behind grammar. So, no, Spanish is not that difficult, and you don't need to learn more grammar or more exceptions of ser and estar. The real reason that is difficult for you is that we don't want to show ourselves vulnerable, which is okay. I already say it, but we have to go through this feeling. So now, after I don't know how many minutes, 15, 20, what is the difference between ser and estar? Just in one sentence per definition. So, ser, we use ser, even if it's not that important. I mean, when to use it or when not. But ser, we use it to identity or definition. For example, yo soy Chris. That's identity because it is the definition of myself. That's why I use both identity or definition as even one word. Like sometimes I say just identity, sometimes I just said definition, but it's like what I am. I am Chris. Yo soy Chris. Yo soy mujer. No, I am a woman. Yo soy profesora. Oh, by the way, this is a very important thing. I am teaching right now grammar, which is not important, but this is, I know that this is like something, what? What? Which is in Spanish, we don't say yo soy una profesora. I am a teacher. We don't say a teacher. We say just I am teacher. Yo soy profesora. Yo soy mujer, woman. Yo soy española. So that's an identity. It's a definition. It defines me as a person. However, estar, we use it as two things: location and status. No, the status right now or the state. That's why estar, state. No, so when we ask where is this place, es dónde está, no sé, ¿dónde está Hungría? Hungría está en Europa because it's a location. And then there are some students that say to me, but oh, wait a second, because where are you from? It's also a location. It's like, no, 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 no. ¿De dónde eres? Ser, ¿de dónde eres? It's a definition. It's an identity. It defines you as a person. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? What is your story? Tell me about the culture. Tell me about everything. What makes you as a person? What builds you as makes this makes you like a person that you are. That's why we use ser, the definition. It's not a location. Yo estoy en Valencia, pero yo no soy Valencia. Yo soy Cris, soy una mujer, etcétera, etcétera. So yeah, this is the main idea. Just two things. We use SER for identity and definition, and STAR for location and temporary state. Well, not temporary, but I state. Let's say state. No, I don't like this permanent and temporary thing. But yeah, when I feel that I am tired, it's a state. It's not it's not an identity. Yo no soy cansada. Yo estoy cansada because it's a state. It's not because it's permanent or not. It's because I don't define myself as a cansada person, as a tired person. Okay, that's why. Of course, there are exceptions, or not exceptions, but different ways of seeing the same situation, but we use it in a different ways. But right now, as I said before, it's not important. So right now, there is a much better question. Instead of where to use Sarah and start, don't think about that. Things you or I suggest you to think, how many times have you used ser and estar this week, instead of what are all the exceptions. ¿Vale? So, how many times have you used it? Ser and estar. Have you used them? ¿Vale? This is the question that you should ask to yourself. You should wonder. So, if you want to start speaking Spanish without getting lost in endless grammar rules and start using them, download my free guide with the essential verbs that every van livers needs when they are traveling around Spain or Latin America. Again, we use it, like we van livers, native speakers, Spanish speakers, we use it every day. And because you need far less than you think to have real conversations. Don't hide, please, behind grammar. There are thousands of people out there in Spain who only speak Spanish. Maybe this old woman from a little village in Almeria, south of Spain. She doesn't speak any English, and she would love, absolutely, absolutely love to talk to you, of course, in Spanish. And she doesn't care if you say estoy inglesa instead of soy inglesa because you are from England. She doesn't care. What she really cares is that if you already visited her, the square, the main plaza, de la Plaza Mayor of this village, or what do you think about her village? Or if you met maybe her sister, who is a very important person in the village. She doesn't care about ser and estar. She cares about you. So please speak first. Grammar. I mean, la gramática. Grammar matters, but it doesn't matter nearly as much as all the conversations that you are missing because you are hiding behind it. Espero que te haya gustado este podcast. I hope that you really, really liked this podcast, that this helps you to see the difference between saying and estar in a different way, and that you, hopefully, after this podcast, you will use it. Bueno, pues un besito muy grande, muchas gracias y nos vemos en clase. Chao.